Here at SBP, our thoughts are with everyone impacted by the recent hurricanes. We are marshaling resources and working with our partners to help support a swift and effective recovery. While we wish that resources like this one are never needed, our hope is that the information and tools we have to share in this webinar series will help make navigating the recovery process easier and shrinking the time it takes to get there. SBP was founded in 2006 in St. Bernard Parish outside of New Orleans by 3 volunteers who had come to help with Hurricane Katrina recovery efforts. Since then, we've grown from a hyper-local rebuilding group into a national organization whose mission is to shrink the time between disaster and recovery. We work in communities around the country, including those recently impacted by the hurricanes, to support recovery efforts. Over the course of our more than a decade of recovery work, SBP has learned a great deal, both from our own experiences and from those of our clients, community partners, and other disaster relief actors about the kinds of actions and programs that make a real difference for individuals and households when it comes to recovering after disaster. What we will share over the course of this Navigating Disaster Recovery webinar series is an overview of different recovery resources and programs, as well as tips and recommendations from our clients and other disaster survivors about understanding the process, avoiding common pitfalls, and how to maximize available resources for recovery. The short videos in this series, 8 to 15 minutes each, will address key aspects of the recovery process. Each module will walk you through what to know and do, with tips and tools to help you navigate each step of the recovery process. More information about federal disaster assistance, insurance, mold remediation, and working with contractors for repairs and rebuilding can be found in our downloadable recovery guides at sbpusa.org/start-here. To get started, I wanted to share some words of wisdom from some of our clients and other survivors that have been shared with us about approaching and working through the disaster recovery process. Advice from those who've walked similar paths to what you may be navigating today. First, your best advocate is you. It's important when working with government agencies and nonprofit agencies to be as detailed as possible about all of the disaster impacts you've experienced. You can't get assistance for needs that your insurance company or FEMA don't know about. So the more that you can be thorough and proactive about conveying those needs, the better positioned these organizations will be to provide assistance. The second is you can and should appeal decisions that you disagree with or don't understand. For example, if you have insurance and you feel the amount suggested by your claims adjuster is too low based on the terms of your policy and estimated repair costs, or if you apply to FEMA for assistance and are denied or offered too little support, this is not necessarily the final decision in either case. There are avenues for you to appeal, and you should appeal if you have unmet needs. And we'll talk a little bit more later about how to do that. The third piece of advice is to document everything. You'll be working with a lot of people and a lot of organizations. You'll have many conversations, many forms to fill out, and having copies of all of this correspondence, notes on all of your conversations, and comprehensive photos of the impacts to your home will help, especially if down the road you need to refer to them or sort out any issues that may arise. This backup becomes incredibly useful. The next is to be persistent. We know that disaster recovery is more of a marathon than a sprint. It can seem complicated and frustrating at times when you're already dealing with the overwhelming experience of working through a disaster. But these processes will help enable you to access resources that can have a significant impact on your recovery journey. Disaster survivors have told us that sticking with it, working through this process, really has helped pay dividends in the end. And we hope that the information and tools we share will help make navigating these processes a little easier and shortening the time that it takes to move through them. Continuing to follow up, investigating, and advocating to get the assistance you need is an important part of making the recovery process work for you. Finally, being sure to take care of yourself. Self-care for you and your family is incredibly important when dealing with stressful and often overwhelming events like disasters. The mental and emotional tolls that disasters take are just as real and in many ways longer lasting than the visible impacts we see walking around our home or walking down the street. It's as important to take care of our emotional and physical well-being as it is to make sure that we can repair damage to our home. Whether this is taking a pause for a deep breath, getting enough sleep, reaching out to those around you for support when you need it, finding a professional to talk with. These are things that will help you and your family work through the recovery process. Know that there are many people and programs out there willing to and able to help. So please don't hesitate to reach out for support and take the time you need to care for yourself and your family while working through the process. Keeping this advice from other survivors in mind as you move forward will put you on the path to a more predictable and effective recovery. In the next video, What to Expect, you'll learn more about the general steps in the recovery process, types of resources and programs available to help meet both immediate and longer-term needs, and what you can be doing now to make it easier to apply to assistance programs as they become available. To learn more about SBP and our response to recent disasters, visit our website at sbpusa.org. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at training@sbpusa.org.